So I see that you filled out your our alcohol and drug questionnaire. Thank you for doing that. Is it okay if we review that?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Just so you're aware, what we talk about in here is confidential. All right. I only tell your parents about what we say if you give permission, or if I have concerns, or if I become worried about a danger to you or someone else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. All right, great. So let's take a look. So I see here that you've marked that you sometimes use marijuana, and that you marked you have used marijuana to relax, feel better about yourself, or fit in. Do you mind telling me a little bit more about your marijuana use?
Well, I guess so. It's not a big deal. Sometimes, me and my friends will smoke when we're at a party or really just kind of hanging out on the weekends together.
Okay, so you smoke a little with friends at parties or whenever you're hanging out on weekends. How long have you been doing that?
Probably for the last year or so.
Okay, great. All right, so I see here you marked 12 as the number of times this past year. Am I correct in assuming that's about once a month or so?
Yeah, maybe sometimes twice a month. I don't really see a big deal with it. I think it's safer than alcohol. My parents would also agree with that.
Okay, I'm curious. What do you like about marijuana?
Yeah, what do I like about it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of fun to do with my friends. It lets us relax after a long week at school. And my job at Starbucks has kind of been a little stressing me out. It's a pretty normal thing, kind of like I said, when we're hanging out at parties or at a friend's house. It's not like we're getting drunk or doing hard drugs. I guess it just makes everything more funner.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like you like to relax and have fun when you're smoking with your friends, and you see it as not as bad as like harder drugs. So I'm curious. Are there any parts about it that you don't like?
Yeah, I guess I don't like feeling tired the next morning, having a sore throat, and I don't like the cost of it either. It's quite expensive.
Yeah. Okay. So I see that you marked here that you've never forgotten things when you've been using marijuana. Um, and what that means, just so we're clear, is you don't remember things from the night before. And so that's accurate, correct?
Yeah, I always remember what we did, but sometimes I can't remember what we were talking about. But I also hear that's pretty common with marijuana.
Okay. And I see that you marked you've gotten in trouble. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so my mom has found a couple of roaches one time and a bag of weed another time that I was saving for the next weekend. I ended up getting grounded each time, sometimes for really just a couple of weeks.
Okay. Um, all right. And have you talked to your mom about using marijuana?
Yes, my mom thinks it's a big deal. I mean, I get it. She's being my mom and everything, but my dad smokes, and I know he doesn't really think of it as a big deal. He uses it as medicine. My mom and dad sometimes get in fights about it.
Okay, so it sounds like you're expected not to use
Yeah.
marijuana. All right. And I noticed that you answered no riding in a car with someone who's been using alcohol or drugs like marijuana, and that you haven't driven a car either after you've been drinking or using drugs such as marijuana. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I marked.
Okay. Well, that's great, and I hope you continue to avoid those things. However, I do want to know that I am concerned with your marijuana use. When teens use drugs, things can go wrong, like injuring yourself, even when you don't think you're impaired. Also, between the ages of 12 and 21, your brain is still developing and it's very sensitive to the effects of things like marijuana. That's why I recommend for people your age, simply wait until you're 21 to decide if that's something that you want to experiment with at that time when your brain is fully developed and you have what's called an adult brain. Um,
Okay.
Okay, great. So if you were to think about stopping your use of marijuana today, I have here just a little scale. On a scale of 0 being not at all ready and 10 being very ready to change, where would you be for stopping to use marijuana today?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe a five.
Okay. Okay, I'm curious. Why didn't you pick a lower number, like a 1 or a 2?
Yeah, well, I guess I'm just tired of getting in trouble. And one of my friends who doesn't smoke is giving me kind of a hard time about it as well.
Okay. Well, what could you do to avoid getting in trouble? Have you ever tried not using marijuana or
Uh,
stopping altogether?
yeah, I guess there's been lots of times that I've hung out with friends who don't smoke, and not all my friends do it.
Okay. That's great to hear. Some people your age start with trying to stop marijuana for a period of time just to see what that feels like. Do you think you could do that?
Yeah, I could probably do that.
Okay, great. How long do you think you could go without using marijuana?
I don't know.
Do you think you could go 2 months without using marijuana?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. What things would make it easier for you not to use marijuana during those 2 months?
Yeah, I can probably just make up an excuse why I can't. Like maybe not being grounded again. I also can really just hang out with friends that don't smoke.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you've thought this through. I think surrounding yourself with friends who don't use marijuana is a great idea. That way you don't feel pressured.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so you've come up with some great reasons here that I've jotted down for you to stop using cannabis or marijuana, like having not enjoying the sore throat, feeling tired afterwards, getting in trouble, and you've also come up with a plan to avoid using marijuana in the near future, which I think is a solid plan. I think it's great that you're giving this a try. How about if I have you make an appointment for 2 months from now, and we can see how things are going at that point?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, great. I would like to give you just this little information about marijuana, and it just helps give you some information that you may not see on some of the sources where you're getting your current information on marijuana from. Great. If there's any questions, you can always reach out and call me at my office, and I'd be happy to talk.
Will do.
All right, great.